G'day friends and fans, welcome to Dave Talks of Ukraine War Update for the 10th of August 2026. I'm your host, the author David Applegate, author of the books The Boyhood of Cain, Power Games, Into the Earthbound, and The Erotic Tales from the Empire, Part 1 and Part 2 out now, Part 3 coming soon. All my links are in the link tree. As the war continues, I'll continue to bring comprehensive news from both sides of the war. Now, I found an interesting article from Responsible Statecraft. They study statesmanship and geopolitics, and the hope that a Ukrainian deep stroke campaign will force a ceasefire were based on the misunderstanding of Russian politics. Though they were based on Volodymyr Zelensky's ego, who wanted to push an aggressive end to the war before he is removed from office by his angry citizens who are sick and tired of his aggression and aggressive tactics. Remember, the majority of Ukrainians have Russian relatives. They talk. They both know what's going on. Ukrainian people know more about what's going on in the war than Zelensky does. He's a detached figurehead, the instrumental majority, right? Kremlin has sought to reduce wartime friction and have managed to get an equilibrium between the various opposition groups. There's only a minority of dissenters within the government, and the military has, in fact, purged most of the incompetents and corrupt. It has helped Putin greatly. Now, Alana and Matthew have written a very interesting article on various things. Now, this, in fact, just boils down to one thing. The 40-day pressure campaign failed to weaken Putin. Instead, it strengthened his position. He's now more determined than ever to reject any settlement offer short of his maximalist goals. And remember, Ukraine has been doing this since 2022. So it is not new. However, there will be no climb down. There will be no frozen front as suggested. And there will now be a new rationale for conflict escalation as Ukraine has decisively targeted private property within Russia. While it was meant to get Wildberries and others to take action, whatever that action would be, however, they did not get the result they wanted. And I bet you the person they hired to assassinate Putin is long dead after cooperating with the FSB on something that looks like a dentist chair, only the dentist tools on it. Only a dentist chair is more hygienic and doesn't have the screams of 1,000 victims burnt into the chair. Which is always why you should never get mixed up in anything that involves the word skull and duggery. But unfortunately, there are many who do get involved in skull and duggery because somehow they think it makes them better people. I honestly think that people who worship deception and sabotage end up miserable old people, always looking over their shoulder, fearful that Putin or one of his allies will get revenge. Right, so as we look around the war, we see the result of escalation. Yeah. Explosions today with a drone attack in Tatarstan. But for most of the day, no drones got through. These are the first drones in 48 hours to get through. 24 hours to get through. Russia's air defences were on par today. well, shelling across the border is harder to stop, but Russia's escalated with heavy attacks on Kiev, deep strikes into Zotomir, attacks on Dnipro. Hey, take note of Dnipro. We'll get back to that one. Palabod, shelling and glide bombs in Kharkiv, but a huge missile strike on Odessa. Now, some say it was as many as 200. I don't know where 200 comes from. I would say it was 200 across Ukraine. Yeah. And a lot of those would be short range, smaller. But yeah, there was a lot of drones and missiles today. It was definitely big. And just a short time ago, Russia's opened up massive artillery bombardment. I mean, now, as in, this just appeared, as in, within 10 minutes, Russia's opening up a huge front as we speak in Sumy. They're expanding the war and seize territory in a rapid attack in Sumy. The escalation, wow, it's they're opening up more attacks here as well, more attacks here. In the last hour, they've opened up more attacks, but for most of the day, they had. But Russia's made a huge breakthrough, and not much territory here, Lyman. But in Koshtakovia, they've in the last 24 hours, they've broken through to Druzhnevinka. They've taken more territory here. They're fighting in fighting with Ukrainian infiltrators in Koshtakovia, clearing out infiltrators in the south as well. They've taken territory here. They've opened up and broken through in several places, but in other places they've had no success. But they've have no continued momentum here. But they had only small successes elsewhere. So, breaking news, yeah. Huge attack in Sumy on Ukrainian positions. This channel is sponsored by you, the viewing public. I am launching soon the Empire Vales official art books. This is the first in a series. This one is on the character Sora. She is the Empress. This is all based on my writing. Soon on my X, I'll be posting some art to give you an idea of what you are getting. Now, about 12 to 24 hours ago, there was a series of missile attacks on Odessa, described as brutal, and all across Odessa was a frequent range of various ballistic, anti-ship, and anti-radar missiles, backed up by 200 drones. Just on Odessa. It's the largest single attack, where in the past, say, even with 700 drones, they were spread out over larger areas. Now, this is Al Jazeera, not Russian news. This is rarely reported on, but as we can see, a group of men accused of being... Now, this is an accusation. The accusation is that these men are Ukrainian recruiters trying to kidnap him, and she doesn't want... She's in fear of her life as well. Despite his exemption, and he's 19 years old, he's under 25, are exempt but still does not matter. Here we go.
Пошли вон! Пошли вон! Мне 19 лет! Вера, звони! Звони дяде, Вера! Звони дяде Андрею! Звони дяде Андрею! Мне плохо!
They claim they're not recruitment. Some claim this is commonplace, and of course Ursula, always lying, turns a blind eye to all of this. The the Human Court of Human Rights, oh, it's out of our jurisdiction. Oh, really? So what about, hypocrites, that you can't arrest, you can't arrest Netanyahu if Ukraine's out of your territory now, isn't it? Oh, if you can't arrest Netanyahu and say, oh, but we can when he's in Europe, then you can arrest Zelensky right now for violation of human rights. Because as far as I'm concerned, he's responsible for the men under his command, and police do fall under the president's command in Ukraine. Where's the Court of Human Rights, eh? Where are all the liberals who claim to support human rights? At least Ukraine's human rights record the violence, but has there been any arrests? Wait, Zelensky said it was 45,000, got called out by Al Jazeera and other news outlets because he'd been saying 50,000 for 3 years. Then he said, oh, it was 55,000. I made a mispronunciation. English isn't my first language. Neither is Ukrainian, Mr. Zelensky from Russia. You want your Russian collusion? Zelensky's Russian. All right. 95,000 soldiers killed. What else? So the rest. What about the 700,000 wounded? All right, so Putin's been told to stop the war after a strike on Wu warehouse. First off, right, most people would only get this far and go, well, Russia, bad, they attacked the Woohoo warehouse. All right, maybe a quarter of the people will get this far and go, wow, they saved 170 pallets, way to go. Wait a minute. Do any government, and how did they know within minutes that Russia had attacked that warehouse? Were able to get 170 pallets out? Let's see. I know to use AI. You would need 6 to 11 trucks to carry 170 pallets. The exact number decides trucks and capacity. Like small box could fit up to 10 to 12. You need, yep, here. Do you know how long to load? Yeah, how long to load? We'll give them 2 forklifts. That's generous. Most places only have 1. I've worked in warehouses. You're lucky. There you go. Okay, what's the flight time? What's the flight time? 3.5 minutes. They saved 170 pallets in 3.5 minutes, depending on the launch time. Yeah, missile and drone attacks recorded 22 locations. Yeah, attacks on Odessa. So in 1 to 3.5 hours, that's generous, given they would need 15 trucks on site, more than one forklift, and that's having every truck fueled, every forklift fueled, because they need more than one. And that is not counting the time from the warning of launch to calculate where that missile's going to strike. How did they know that missile was going to strike that warehouse? Precisely. And if they had, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. So the defeat in Kursk is a big deal, a big blow to Kiev. The Ukrainians counterstrike in the Kursk and Zvezd area not only failed, but resulted in the Russians able to advance their trench line. Okay, that's only a file photo. Don't even think it's indicative of Russian forces. These guys could all are just posing for the camera. So, as I showed you, the lines are crumbling. That's bad news that people are going to say Russian disinformation. This is not a Russian site, though. Now, Russia's brought out a conflict freeze. Now, I think it was Azerbaijan who proposed, and the Deputy Foreign Minister said the peace can be achieved by addressing the root causes of hostilities. Moscow will not settle for anything less than addressing the underlying issues, which is the Nazis in Kiev. And how Zelensky's 40-day influence operation against Russia fell apart. Well, it was only cut short from 60. It was supposed to be 60. It was cut short by a Russian missile strike on stockpiles that had been recently delivered, which is why there's now a missile shortage. And Russians responded by cutting off Odessa, which has stopped resupplies in a timely manner, because those ships now have to dock in Romania and Turkey, unload, and take days, sometimes weeks, for those supplies to get into Ukraine. Plus outgoing. What is each ship worth? Around the average traffic in and out of Ukraine, 6,500 trucks a day. That has nearly now doubled. It was 7,500 yesterday. It's now well over 12,000 trucks. Half of Poland is mobilising to bring emergency supplies into Ukraine and haul out grain as payment for said supplies. Now, Russian forces have taken 2 towns. They give you a load of stats, which mean nothing because they're unverifiable. But here's the danger. And the danger for Putin is that the Russian people have access to have Ukrainian relatives or know someone Ukrainian. There are several million in the region who and they have relatives. They are reading Telegram channels. Russians using Telegram to put out information, and Ukrainian bloggers are putting out Telegram information to the world. And in turn, they are getting pushback from Ukrainians and conversations with Ukrainians, and they are equalizing in what each other's footage. You can go on Reddit, there's combat footage that pops up showing that both sides are equally destructive. There is no superior advantage right now. But where Russia is surging is how much equipment they can deploy compared to Ukraine. And while it is draining on resources, a pair of guns like this, overcompensation. I got my twin shooters ready to go. Hip shoot. He's a hip shooter. All right, he's got the advantage. So pops drones all day long. Hell, what a nice way to serve out the war and collect a paycheck, right? So he's one of the lucky ones. And there are thousands of these across Russia. And they are starting to take effect. They are starting to slowly wear down the Ukrainian attacks, reducing the Ukrainian attacks, getting more effective at defending Russia. So, again, 3.5 minutes, they saved 170 pallets. Wow. Well, actually, let's see. Flight time, what's a drone? Okay. The drone attack is possible, but then they'd have to know the exact launch location and know its destination. Now, if they could do that for the UN, they could have done that for any other warehouse. So have they tipped their hand, or are they lying? Because I just realised that could have been a drone. I doubt it. Well, let's see. Let's just check before I go. Come on. There we go. Unstuck. There we go. Right. Okay, they've got the drone marker and say it was a day ago. So they're not even reporting on today's attack. All right. Thank you for watching. Yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please support the channel. You can support me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, buy my books, buy my merch. All my links are in the link tree, which you'll find in the description below, in my profile, or scan the QR code on the screen. Appreciate each and every one of you. See you in the next video, and bye for now.